The Collected Writings of Jack Parsons. Narrated by Matthew Schmitz. The Book of Babalon. January 4th through March 4th, 1946. Introduction. This book contains the record of a magical experiment relating to the invocation of an elemental, the thereafter of the goddess or force called Babalon, and the results thereof. An appendix contains some details of the method, published for the first time. The contents should be clear enough to those who are prepared for understanding, and a little study and effort should make it so for those who desire understanding. For the rest, each will no doubt interpret it in accord with his own predilections. A note on the underlying philosophy. The present age is under the influence of the force called, in magical terminology, Horus. This force relates to fire, Mars, and the sun, that is, to power, violence, and energy. It also relates to a child, being innocent or undifferentiated. Its manifestations may be noted in the destruction of old institutions and ideas, the discovery and liberation of new energies, and the trend towards power governments, war, homosexuality, infantilism, and schizophrenia. This force is completely blind, depending upon the men and women in whom it manifests and who guide it. Obviously, its guidance now tends towards catastrophe. The catastrophic trend is due to our lack of understanding of our own natures, the hidden lusts, fears, and hatreds resulting from the warping of the love urge, which underlie the natures of all Western peoples, have taken a homicidal and suicidal direction. This impasse is broken by the incarnation of another sort of force, called Babalon. The nature of this force relates to love, understanding, and Dionysian freedom, and is the necessary counterbalance or correspondence to the manifestation of Horus. It is indicated that this force is actually incarnate in some living woman as the result of the described magical operation. A more basic matter, however, is the indication that this force is incarnate in all men and women and needs only to be invoked to free the spirit from the debris of the old aeon and to direct the blind force of Horus into constructive channels of understanding and love. The methods of this invocation are described in the text. The background of this material may be found in the Book of the Law, the comment thereon, and other writings of Aleister Crowley, also in various magical, anthropological, psychological, and philosophical texts. These are all necessary to an understanding and use of the material. One further point. It should be remembered that all human activities, after the vital functions are fulfilled, arise from the need to love or to be loved. It is therefore quite literally true that an understanding, or else that which embraces all categories of love, is all power given. A grasp of the principle of bipolarity should make this clear. With this crude and rudimentary philosophical discourse, then, I present the Book of Babalon. A. Conception. In January 1946, I had been engaged in the study and practice of magic for 7 years, and in the supervision and operation of an occult lodge for 4 years, having been initiated into the sanctuary of the Gnosis by the Beast 666, Frater 132, and Frater Saturnus. At this time I decided upon a magical operation designed to obtain the assistance of an elemental mate. This is a well-known procedure in magic, referencing Chapter 8 in Magic in Theory and Practice, consisting of the invocation of a spirit or elemental into tangible existence by various magical techniques. I decided upon the use of the Enochian tablets obtained by Dr. D. and Edward Kelly, employing the NNN square of the air tablet. The technique was approximately as follows. January 4th, 1946, 9 p.m. 1. Prepared and consecrated air dagger. The other magical weapons were previously prepared. This dagger served as the special talisman of the operation. 2. Prepared Enochian air tablet on virgin parchment. 3. Prepared parchment talisman. 4. Rituals as follows. A. Invoking pentagram of air. B. Invocation of Bornless One. C. Conjuration of air. D. Consecration of air dagger. E. Key call of third air. F. Invocation of God and King of Air. G. Invocation of 6 seniors. H. Invocation of RZDA by NNN and XARP to visible appearance. I. Invocation of wand with material basis on talisman. J. Invocation with dagger. K. License to depart, purification, and banishing. I followed this procedure for 11 days, from January 4th to 15th, with the following entries in my record. January 5th. A strong windstorm beginning suddenly about the middle of the first invocation. January 6th. Invoked as before. Windstorm continued intermittently all day and night. January 7th. Invoked twice. Wind subsided. Used Prokofiev Violin Concerto No. 2 as musical background. January 8th. Invoked twice, using blood. January 9th. Invoked twice, replenishing material basis. January 10th. Invoked twice. I retired about 11 p.m. and was awakened at 12 p.m. by 9 strong, rapid knocks. A table lamp at the opposite corner of the room was thrown violently to the floor and broken. There was no window in this corner, and no wind was blowing at the time. Note: I have had little experience with phenomena of this sort. Magically speaking, it usually represents breaks in the operation, indicating imperfect technique. Actually, in any magical operation, there should be no phenomena but the willed result. January 11th. Invoked twice, using blood. January 12th. Invoked twice, a heavy windstorm. January 13th. Invoked twice. Windstorm continued. January 14th. The light system of the house failed about 9 p.m. Another magician who had been staying at the house and studying with me was carrying a candle across the kitchen when he was struck strongly on the right shoulder, and the candle knocked out of his hand. He called us, and we observed a brownish-yellow light about 7 feet high in the kitchen. I banished with a magical sword, and it disappeared. His right arm was paralyzed for the rest of the night. January 15th. Invoked twice. At this time, the scribe developed some sort of astral vision, describing in detail an old enemy of mine of whom he had never heard, and later the guardian forms of Isis and the Archangel Michael. Later, in my room, I heard the raps again and a buzzing, metallic voice crying, "Let me go free." I felt a great pressure and tension in the house that night, which was also noticed by the other occupants. There was no other phenomena, and I admit a feeling of disappointment. The feeling of tension and unease continued for 4 days. Then, on January 18th at sunset, while the scribe and I were on the Mojave Desert, the feeling of tension suddenly snapped. I turned to him and said, "It is done," in absolute certainty that the operation was accomplished. I returned home and found a young woman answering the requirements waiting for me. She is describable as an air of fire type, with bronze-red hair, fiery and subtle, determined and obstinate, sincere and perverse, with extraordinary personality, talent, and intelligence. During the period of January 19th through February 27th, I invoked the goddess Babalon with the aid of my magical partner, as was proper to one of my grade. B. Communications. On February 27th, my magical partner went east for a visit, and on February 28th I went back to the Mojave, invoking Babalon. During this invocation, the presence of the goddess came upon me, and I was commanded to write the following communication. Liber 49. Yea, it is I, Babalon, and this is my book, that is the 4th chapter of the Book of the Law. He completing the name, for I am out of Nuit by Horus, the incestuous sister of Ra-Hur-Kuit. It is Babalon. Time is, ye fools. Thou hast called me, O accursed and beloved fool. Lines 5 through 8, missing and presumed lost. Editor. Now know that I, Babalon, would take flesh and come among men. I will come as a penniless flame, as a devious song, a trumpet in judgment halls, a banner before armies. And gather my children unto me, for the time is at hand, and this is the way of my incarnation. Heed. Thou shalt offer all thou art and all thou hast at my altar, withholding nothing. And thou shalt be smitten full sore, and thereafter thou shalt be outcast and accursed, a lonely wanderer in abominable places. Ye dare, I have asked of none other, nor have they asked. Else is vain, but thou hast willed it. Know that thus I came to thee before, thou a great lord, and I a maid enwrapped. Ah, blind folly, and thereafter madness, all in vain. Thus it has been, multiform, how thou hast burned beyond. I shall come again in the form thou knowest. Now it shall be thy blood. The altar is aright, and the robe. The perfume is sandal, and the cloth green and gold. There is my cup, our book, and thy dagger. There is a flame. The sigil of devotion, be it consecrated, be it true, be it daily affirmed. I am not scorned. Thy love is to me. Procure a disk of copper, in diameter 3 inches, paint thereon the field blue, the star gold of me, Babalon. It shall be my talisman. Consecrate with the supreme rituals of the word and the cup. My calls, as thou knowest, all love songs are of me. Also seek me in the 7th air. This for a time appointed, seek not the end. I shall instruct thee in my way, but be true. Would it be hard if I were thy lover and before thee? But I am thy lover, and I am with thee. I shall provide a vessel, when or whence I say not. Seek her not, call her not, let her declare. Ask nothing, keep silence. There shall be ordeals. My vessel must be perfect. This is the way of her perfection. The working is of 9 moons. The Astarte, working, with music and feasting, with wine and all arts of love. Let her be dedicated, consecrated, blood to blood, heart to heart, mind to mind, single in will, none without the circle, all to me. And she shall wander in the witchwood under the night of Pan, and know the mysteries of the goat and the serpent, and of the children that are hidden away. I will provide the place and the material basis, thou the tears and blood. Is it difficult between matter and spirit? For me, it is ecstasy and agony untellable. But I am with thee. I have large strength. I have thou likewise. Thou shalt prepare my book for her instruction. Also thou shalt teach that she may have captains and adepts in her service. Yea, thou shalt take the black pilgrimage, but it will not be thou that returnest. Let her prepare her work according to my voice in her heart, with thy book as guide, and none other instructing. And let her be in all things wise and sure and excellent. But let her think on this. My way is not in the solemn ways, or in the reasoned ways, but in the wild free way of the eagle, and the devious way of the serpent, and the oblique way of the factor unknown and unnumbered. For I am Babalon, and she my daughter unique, and there shall be no other women like her. In my name shall she have all power, and all men, and excellent things, and kings and captains, and the secret ones at her command. The first servants are chosen in secret by my force in her, a captain, a lawyer, an agitator, a rebel. I shall provide. Call me, my daughter, and I shall come to thee. Thou shalt be full of my force and fire. My passion and power shall surround and inspire thee. My voice in thee shall judge nations. None shall resist thee, whom I lovest. Though they call thee harlot and whore, shameless, false, evil, these words shall be blood in their mouths, and dust thereafter. But my children will know thee and love thee, and this will make them free. All is in thy hands, all power, all hope, all future. One came as a man, and was weak and failed. One came as a woman, and was foolish and failed. But thou art beyond man and woman, and my star is in thee, and thou shalt avail. Even now thy hour strikes upon the clock of my father, for he prepared a banquet and a bridal bed. I was that bride, appointed from the beginning, as it was written, T-O-P-A-N. Now is the hour of birth at hand. Now shall my adept be crucified in the basilisk abode. Thy tears, thy sweat, thy blood, thy semen, thy love, thy faith shall provide. Ah, I shall drain thee like the cup that is of me, Babalon. Stand thou fast, and I shall pass the first veil to speak with thee, through the stars shake. Stand thou fast, and I shall pass the second veil, while God and Jesus be smitten with the sword of Horus. Stand thou fast, and I shall pass the third veil, and the shapes of hell shall be turned again to loveliness. For thy sake shall I stride through the flames of hell, though my tongue be bitten through. Let me behold thee naked and lusting after me, calling upon my name. Let me receive all thy manhood within my cup, climax upon climax, joy upon joy. Yea, we shall conquer death and hell together, and the earth is mine. Thou shalt make the black pilgrimage. Yea, it is even I, Babalon, and I shall be free. Thou fool, be thou also free of sentimentality. Am I thy village queen, and thou a sophomore, that thou shouldest have thy nose in my buttocks? It is I, Babalon, ye fools. My time is come, and this, my book, that my adept prepares, is the book of Babalon. Yea, my adept, the black pilgrimage. Thou shalt be accursed, and this is the nature of the curse. Thou shalt publish the secret matter of the adepts, thou knowest, withholding no word of it, in an appendix to this, my book. So they shall cry, fool, liar, sot, traducer, betrayer. Thou art not glad thou meddled with magic? There is no other way, dear fool. It is the 11th hour. The seal of my brother is upon the earth, and his avatar is before you. There is threshing of wheat and a trampling of grapes that shall not cease until the truth be known unto the least of men. But you who do not accept, you who see beyond, reach out your hands, my children, and reap the world in the hour of your harvest. Gather together in the covens as of old, whose number is 11, that is also my number. Gather together in public, in song and dance and festival, gather together in secret, be naked and shameless, and rejoice in my name. Work your spells by the mode of my book, practicing secretly, inducing the supreme spell. The work of the image, and the potion, and the charm, the work of the spider and the snake, and the little ones that go in the dark, this is your work. Who loves not hates, who hates fears, let him taste fear. This is the way of it, star, star. Burning bright, moon, witch moon. You the secret, the outcast, the accursed and despised, even you that gathered privily of old in my rites under the moon. You the free, the wild, the untamed, that walk now alone and forlorn. Behold, my brother cracks the world like a nut for your eating. Yea, my father has made a house for you, and my mother has prepared a bridal bed. My brother has confounded your enemies. I am the bride appointed. Come ye to the nuptials, come ye now. My joy is the joy of eternity, and my laughter is the drunken laughter of a harlot in the house of ecstasy. All your loves are sacred. Pledge them all to me. Set my star upon your banners, and go forward in joy and victory. None shall deny you, and none shall stand before you, because of the sword of my brother. Invoke me, call upon me, call me in your convocations and rituals. Call upon me in your loves and battles in my name, Babalon, wherein all power is given. C. Birth. March 2nd, 1946. On March 1st and 2nd, 1946, I prepared the altar and equipment in accordance with the instructions in Liber 49. The scribe had been away about a week and knew nothing of my invocations of Babalon, which I had kept entirely secret. On the night of March 2nd, he returned and described a vision he had that evening of a savage and beautiful woman riding naked on a great cat-like beast. He was impressed with the urgent necessity of giving me some message or communication. We prepared magically for this communication, constructing a temple at the altar with the analysis of the key word. He was robed in white, carrying the lamp, and I in black, hooded, with the cup and dagger. At his suggestion, we played Rachmaninoff's Isle of the Dead as background music, and set an automatic recorder to transcribe any audible occurrences. At approximately 8 p.m., he began to dictate, I transcribing directly as I received. The scribe. The angel of Tarot, a 3-day retirement to greet her. Purify thyself. The symbol is 7x3. It is Babalon. Keep secret. The communications are sacred. These are the preparations. Green gold cloth, food for the beast, upon a hidden platter, back of the altar. Disclose only when the doors are bolted. Transgression is death. Back of main altar, prepare instantly. Light the first flame at 10 p.m., March 2nd, 1946. The year of Babalon is 4063. Beware of the use of profaned rituals. She is flame of life, power of darkness. She destroys with a glance. She may take thy soul. She feeds upon the death of men. Beautiful, horrible. The scribe, now pale and sweating, rested a while, then continued. The first ritual. The first ritual. Tomorrow, the second ritual. Concentrate all force and being in Our Lady, Babalon. Light a single light on her altar, saying, Flame is Our Lady, flame is her hair, I am flame. A plate of food unsalted, an altar cloth hitherto undefiled. Make a box of blackness at 10 o'clock, smear the vessel which contains flame with thine own blood. Destroy at the altar a thing of value. Remain in perfect silence and heed the voice of Our Lady. Speak not of this ritual or of her coming to any person. If asked, answer in a manner that avoids suspicion, nor speculate at any time as to her future mortal identity. To receive flattering communications to thy damnation, press not to receive teachings beyond those given. Questions. You may ask but 3. Spend 1/2 hour in composing these at 11:30 p.m. The answers must be written at midnight. Thou shalt take the alkahest in thine own mouth, and in the box of darkness carefully store this matter. Display thyself to Our Lady. Dedicate thy organs to her. Dedicate thy heart to her. Dedicate thy mind to her. Dedicate thy soul to her, for she shall absorb thee, and thou shalt become living flame before she incarnates. For it shall be through you alone, and no one else can help in this endeavor. It is lonely. It is awful. Retire from human contact until noon tomorrow. Clear all profane documents on the morrow before receiving further instructions. Consult no book but thine own mind. Thou art a god. Behave at this altar as one god before another, and so be prosperity. Thou art the guardian, and thou art the guide. Thou art the worker and the mechanic. So conduct thyself. Discuss nothing of this matter until thou art certain that thine understanding embraces all. Here the scribe ceased dictation. I proceeded to follow these instructions and those of March 1st, utilizing the following rituals. I include the rituals used in the operation of the first night in order to indicate the nature of the force invoked. 1. The first invocation. The temple is opened with the analysis of the key word. Inri, Yod, Nun, Resh, Yod. Virgo, Isis, Mighty Mother. Scorpio, Apophis, Destroyer. Sol, Osiris slain and risen. Io, the sign of Osiris, slain, given. The sign of the morning of Isis, given. The sign of Apophis and Typhon, given. Lux, Lux, the light of the cross. The invoking hexagram is drawn in the 4 quarters, and the name Ararita vibrated in each quarter. In closing, the hexagram is reversed. 2. The second invocation from the Gnostic Mass. The priest. O circle of stars, whereof our Father is but the younger brother, marvel beyond imagination, soul of infinite space, before whom time is ashamed, the mind bewildered, and the understanding dark. Not unto thee may we attain unless thine image be love. Therefore by seed and root and stem and bud and leaf and flower and fruit do we invoke thee. Babalon. But to love me is better than all things. If under the night stars in the desert thou presently burnest mine incense before me, invoking me with a pure heart and the serpent flame therein, thou shalt come a little to lie in my bosom. For one kiss wilt thou be willing to give all, but whoso gives one particle of dust shall lose all in that hour. Ye shall gather goods and store of women and spices, ye shall wear rich jewels, ye shall exceed the nations of earth in splendor and pride, but always in the love of me, and so shall ye come to my joy. I charge you earnestly to come before me in a single robe, and covered with a rich headdress. I love you, I yearn to you. Pale or purple, veiled or voluptuous, I who am all pleasure and purple and drunkenness of the innermost sense, desire you. Put on the wings and arouse the coiled splendor within you. Come unto me. To me, sing the rapturous love songs unto me. Burn to me perfume. Drink to me, for I love you. I love you. I am the blue-lidded daughter of sunset. I am the naked brilliance of the voluptuous night sky. To me. To me. 3. The third invocation, from The Vision and the Voice. Chorus. Glory unto the scarlet woman, Babalon, the mother of abomination that rideth upon the beast, for she hath spilt their blood in every corner of the earth, and lo, she hath mingled it in the cup of her whoredom. With the breath of her kisses hath she fermented it, and it hath become the wine of the Sabbath. And in the holy assembly hath she poured it out for her worshippers, and they have become drunken thereon, so that face to face they beheld my Father. Thus are they made worthy to partake of the mystery of this holy vessel, for the blood is the life. Beautiful art thou, O Babalon, and desirable, for thou hast given thyself to everything that liveth, and thy weakness hath subdued their strength. For in that union thou didst understand. Therefore art thou called Understanding, O Babalon, Lady of the Night. O my God, in one last rapture let me attain to the union of the one with the many. For she is love, and her love is one, and she has divided the one into infinite loves, and each love is one, and equal with the one. And therefore is she passed from the assembly, and the law, and the enlightenment into the anarchy of solitude and darkness. For ever thus must she veil the brilliance of herself. 4. The fourth invocation. O Babalon, Babalon beloved, come now, partake of the sacrament, possess this shrine. Take me now, let me be drunken on the wine of your fornications. Let your kisses wanton me to death. Accept thou this sacrifice willingly given. 5. The fifth invocation. The call of the seventh air. Ras I Salman, paradis oa crimi, Ao ial pirga, qui in ine butmon, od I anoas, ni paradil, kasarm, Vergir, Shiran, Od Zonak, Luciftan, Kors ta Valzirn, Tol, Hami Sobol Ando, Ad Miam Chis, Ta Zoad Es, Vima Dia, Od, Pai, Bliar, O Fil Rit Od Miam, Si Krimi, Quada, Od, O Mekalos, Oriom Bagel, Papnor I Dulugum, Nonchi, Ud Umplif, Vegegi Regild, Babalon. 6. The sixth invocation, from Tannhauser, by Aleister Crowley. Isis art thou, and from thy life are fed all showers and suns, all moons that wax and wane, all stars and streams, the living and the dead, the mystery of pleasure and of pain. Thou art the mother, thou the speaking sea, thou art the earth and its fertility. Life, death, love, hatred, light, darkness return to thee. To thee. Hathor am I, and to my beauty drawn, all glories of the universe bow down, the blossom and the mountain and the dawn. Fruits blush and women, our creation's crown. I am the priest, the sacrifice, the shrine. I the love and life of the divine. Life, death, love, hatred, light, darkness are surely mine, are mine. Venus art thou, the love and light of earth, the wealth of kisses, the delight of tears, the barren pleasures never came to birth. The endless, infinite delight of years, thou art the shrine at which my long desire devoured me with intolerable fire. Thou wert song, music, passion, death upon my lyre. My lyre. I am the grail, and I am the glory now. I am the flame and fuel of my breast. I am the star of God upon thy brow. I am the queen, enraptured and possessed. Hide thee, sweet river, welcome to thee, sea. Ocean of love that shall encompass thee. Life, death, love, hatred, light, darkness, return to me. To me. March 2nd, 1946. Continued. On the night of the first performance of these rituals, I prepared the altar and box of food, also flowers and wine. At the beginning of the rituals, I burnt the Enochian tablet and smashed an image of Pan, a favorite possession. About this time, the roof on my guest house caught fire from a faulty chimney and was partly destroyed. I proceeded with the rituals, noting a mounting tension and the sense of a presence inexpressibly poignant and desirable. There was no other manifestation. At 12 p.m., I put the 3 questions and received answers as follows. 1. How can I communicate directly with Babalon? Hear her, see her, feel her, be sure that I am working aright? Answer. At the altar in meditation, as you know how. Also, invoke me carnally with all your passion. Thus will you feel my desire and increase my substance. 2. How can I serve best? Answer. Follow instructions exactly and in detail. Avoid loose interruptions. Be diligent. Do not hesitate or question. Act. All depends on your time. 3. How can I be certain of the vehicle? Answer. Do not trouble yourself with this. It does not concern you. I will provide the vehicle. I will show you a sign and signs. It is the now which concerns us. Keep your faith. Think not overmuch. After this, an hour's meditation, and so to sleep. March 3rd, 1946. The next day, I slipped badly. An inmate of the house disturbed my morning meditation. I opened the door and cursed him in the Anglo-Saxon fashion. Shortly after, he was taken ill, and I succumbed to a black mood. I perceived my terrible error and apologized to him, mentally withdrawing the curse. However, the day went very badly for me. That evening, the scribe and I resumed our work. In a short time, the dictation began. In the presence of our Lord Pan, at the feet of our Lady Babalon, at the feet of her servants, changing, we declare unto thee this message, consecrated, dedicated, never to be defiled. The scribe was uncertain here. Containing the rituals of the 2nd and 3rd days of the welcome and preparation in the name of Our Lady of the Night most gracious to pure, lewd, and whoresome Lady Babalon. O thou who art mortal, tremble. Given it is unto thee a feat never before performed in the annals of your histories, never before accomplished successfully. Many have dared, none succeeded. Our Lady Babalon must descend to triumph. Mortality. We have not asked this of another, nor shall we ever. Even now we doubt thy faith. Is this accepted? Are you willing to proceed? Answer aloud. Answer. I am willing. Then know, thou art already faulty in thy delivery. These are extraneous things. The elemental was not properly released. This was corrected. Thou wert guilty of human rage. The current of force has been disturbed. Beware. Shouldest thou falter again, we will sure slay thee. But insofar as thy working was consecrated, it has succeeded. Rectify thy mortal fault and error. Consecrate all. Now receive the 2nd and 3rd rituals. The 2nd ritual. March 3rd, 1946. Continued. Consecrate thyself as instructor of Our Lady Incarnate. Take the black box. Concentrate upon its emptiness for 1 hour. Gaze into it, and thou wilt see, imprinted upon it, a shape, a sign, a sacred design, which shall be the sign delivered by Our Lady Babalon Incarnate. When thou hast finished, when thou hast recognized this pattern, construct it in wood. This is the sigil. 10 be the hour appointed. Invoke long to music indicated. This I keep secret. When thou canst feel Our Lady incarnate in thy being, take the black box and perform the consecrated rite. Wear thou scarlet, symbolic of birth. Be sashed in black. It matters not the quality of goods. Take then the box, make then the sign. Paint upon it a second sign which thou knowest. If thou hast forgotten, gaze into thy crystal. Meditate while gazing on the qualities of an instructor. Thou shalt inscribe in her book, for her guidance. Thou art forbidden to leave thy room. The end of the second ritual. At the end of this dictation, the scribe showed signs of exhaustion. He rested a while, then we continued. The third ritual, March 3rd, 1946, continued. Begin 4 hours prior to dawn, a period of eradication of all inimical influences, complete perfection. Wear black. Cut from thy breast the red star. Renew the blood. Lay out a white sheet. Place upon it blood of birth, since she is born of thy flesh and by thy mortal power upon earth. Thou shalt recognize by the sign, Babalon is born. It is new birth. All things are changed, the signs, the symbols, the everything. Thou shalt compass with the aid of the muse suitable invocation of the birth of Babalon, and this thou shalt deliver to the flames which now burn too. Now thou shalt flame the third, chanting the invocation. She is born in the third flame. In verse, 7 verses of 7 lines, 7 magic words. Stand and chant 7 times. Envision thyself as a cloaked radiance desirable to the goddess, beloved. Envision her approaching thee. Embrace her, cover her with kisses. Think upon the lewd, lascivious things thou couldst do. All is good to Babalon. All. Then rest, meditating on this. Thou as a man and as a god hast strewn about the earth and in the heavens many loves. These recall, concentrate, consecrate each woman thou hast raped. Remember her, think upon her, move her into Babalon, bring her into Babalon, each one by one until the flame of lust is high. Then compose a verse of undetermined lines on this, to Babalon. This verse shall be used in worship when she appears. Then meditate upon thy desire, think upon her, and, touching naught, chant these verses. Recall each lascivious moment, each lustful day, all set them into the astral body, touching naught. Preserve the material basis. Question. In the box? Answer. Yes. The lust is hers, the passion yours. Consider thou the beast raping. Leave thy casual loves. All belongs to Babalon. Thy lust is Babalon's. She is with thee 3 days. The sign is hers, secret, and no man knows its correspondence. Guard. The next section contains a prophecy which I shall not write here. There follows the indicated invoking poem. The birth of Babalon. What is the tumult among the stars that have shone so still till now? What are the furrows of pain and wrath upon the immortal brow? Why is the face of God turned gray and his angels all grown white? What is the terrible ruby star that burns down the crimson night? What is the beauty that flames so bright athwart the awful dawn? She has taken flesh, she has come to judge the thrones ye rule upon. Quail ye kings, for an end is come in the birth of Babalon. I have walked 3 dreadful nights away in halls beyond despair. I have given marrow and tears and sweat and blood to make her fair. I have lain my love and smashed my heart and filled her cup with blood, that blood might flow from the loins of woe to the cup of brotherhood. The cities reel in the shout of steel where the sword of war is drawn. Sing ye saints, for the day is come in the birth of Babalon. Now God has called for his judgment book and seen his name therein, and the grace of God and the guilt of God have spelt it out as sin. His bloody priests have clutched his robes and stained his linen gown, and his victims swarm from his broken hell to drag his kingdom down. O popes and kings and the little gods are sick and sad and wan to see the crimson star that bursts like blood upon the dawn, while trumpets sound and stars rejoice at the birth of Babalon. Babalon is too beautiful for sight of mortal eyes. She has hidden her loveliness away in lonely midnight skies. She has clothed her beauty in robes of sin and pledged her heart to swine, and loving and giving all she has, brewed for saints' immortal wine. But now the darkness is riven through, and the robes of sin are gone, and naked she stands as a terrible blade and a flame and a splendid song, naked in radiant mortal flesh at the birth of Babalon. She has come newborn as a mortal maid, forgetting her high estate. She has opened her arms to pain and death and dared the doom of fate. And death and hell are at her back, but her eyes are bright with life. Her heart is high and her sword is strong to meet the deadly strife. Her voice is sure as the judgment trump to crack the house of wrong, though walls are high and stone is hard and the rule of hell was long. The gates shall fall and the irons break in the birth of Babalon. Her mouth is red and her breasts are fair and her loins are full of fire, and her lust is strong as a man is strong in the heart of her desire. And her whoredom is holy as virtue is foul beneath the holy sky, and her kisses will wanton the world away in passion that shall not die. Ye shall laugh and love and follow her dance when the wrath of God is gone, and dream no more of hell and hate in the birth of Babalon. The Book of Antichrist. The Black Pilgrimage. Now it came to pass, even as Babalon told me, for after receiving her book, I fell away from Magick, and put away her book and all pertaining thereto, and I was stripped of my fortune, the sum of about $50,000, and my house and all I possessed. Then for a period of 2 years I worked in the world, recouping my fortune somewhat, but that was also taken from me, and my reputation and my good name in my worldly work, that was in science. And on the 31st of October, 1948, Babalon called on me again, and I began the last work. That was the work of the wand, and I worked for 17 days until Babalon called me in a dream and instructed me on an astral working. Then I reconstructed the temple and began the Black Pilgrimage, as she instructed. And I went into the sunset with her sign, and into the night past accursed and desolate places and cyclopean ruins, and so came at last to the city of Chorazin. And there a great tower of black basalt was raised, that was part of a castle whose further battlements reeled over the gulf of stars, and upon the tower was this sign. And one heavily robed and veiled showed me the sign, and told me to look, and behold, I saw flash below me 4 past lives wherein I had failed in my object, and I beheld the life of Simon Magus, preaching the whore Helena as the Sophia, and I saw that my failure was in hubris, the pride of the spirit, and I saw my life as Gilderetz, wherein I attempted to raise Jehanne d'Arc to be queen of the witchcraft, and failed through her stupidity, and again my pride. And I saw myself in Francis Hepburn, Earl Bothwell, manipulating Gellis Duncan, that was an unworthy instrument, and again as Count Cagliostro, failing because I failed to comprehend the nature of women in my Seraphina. And I was shown myself as a boy of 13 in this life, invoking Satan, and showing cowardice when he appeared, and I was asked, "Will you fail again?" And I replied, "I will not fail, for I had given all my blood to Babalon, and it was not I that spoke." And thereafter I was taken within and saluted the prince of that place, and thereafter things were done to me of which I may not write, and they told me, "It is not certain that you will survive, but if you survive you will attain your true will, and manifest the Antichrist." And thereafter I returned and swore the oath of the abyss, having only the choice between madness, suicide, and that oath. But the oath in no wise ameliorated that terror, and I continued in the madness and horror of the abyss for a season. But of this no more. But having passed the ordeal of 40 days, I took the oath of a Magister Templii, even the oath of Antichrist before Freighter 132, the unknown god. And thus was I Antichrist, loosed in the world, and to this I am pledged, that the work of the Beast 666 shall be fulfilled, and the way for the coming of Babalon be made open, and I shall not cease or rest until these things are accomplished. And to this end I have issued this my manifesto. The Manifesto of the Antichrist. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. I, Belerion, Antichrist, in the year 1949 of the rule of the Black Brotherhood called Christianity, do make my manifesto to all men. And I, the Antichrist, come among you, saying, an end to the pretense and lying hypocrisy of Christianity, an end to the servile virtues and superstitious restrictions, an end to the slave morality, an end to prudery and shame, to guild and sin, for these are of the only evil, the son, that is fear. An end to all authority that is not based on courage and manhood, to the authority of lying priests, conniving judges, blackmailing police, and an end to the servile flattery and cajolery of mods, the coronations of mediocrities, the ascension of dolts, an end to restriction and inhibition. For I, the Antichrist, am come among you preaching the word of the Beast 666, which is, there is no law beyond do what thou wilt. And I, Belerion, Antichrist, do lift up my voice and prophecy, and I say, I shall bring all men to the law of the Beast 666, and in his law I shall conquer the world. And within 7 years of this time, Babalon, the scarlet woman of Hilarion, will manifest among ye, and bring this, my work, to its fruition, an end to conception, compulsion, regimentation, and the tyranny of false laws. And within 9 years, a nation shall accept the law of the Beast 666 in my name, and that nation will be the first nation of earth. And all who accept me, the Antichrist, and the law of the Beast 666, shall be accursed, and their joy shall be 1,000-fold greater than the false joys of the false saints. And in my name, Belerion, shall they work miracles and confound our enemies, and none shall stand before us. Therefore I, the Antichrist, call upon all the chosen and elect and upon all men, come forth now in the name of liberty, that we may end forever the tyranny of the Black Brotherhood. Witness my hand and seal on this day of 1949, that is the year of Babalon 4066. Love is the law, love under will. Belerion, Antichrist. Analysis by a Master of the Temple of the critical nodes in the experience of his material vehicle. I shall regard all phenomena as the particular dealing of God with my soul. 1. Birth. October 2nd, 1914, Los Angeles, rising in midheaven in favorable conjunction at aphelion. I chose this constellation in order that you might have an innate sense of balance and ultimate justice, responsive and attractive nature, a bountiful environment and sense of royalty and largesse, strength, courage, and power combined with cunning and intelligence. Saturn was bound in order that you might easily formulate a lower will which would have satisfied and overwhelmed you with its spectacular success. Your father separated from your mother in order that you might grow up with a hatred of authority and a spirit of revolution necessary to my work. The Oedipus complex was needed to formulate the love of witchcraft, which would lead you into magic, with the influence of your grandfather active to prevent too complete an identification with your mother. 2. Childhood. Your isolation as a child developed the necessary background of literature and scholarship, and the unfortunate experiences with other children, the requisite contempt for the crowd and for the group mores. You will note that these factors developed the needful hatred for Christianity without implanting a Christian guilt sense at an extremely early age. 3. Adolescence. Early adolescence continued the development of the necessary combinations. The awakening interest in chemistry and science prepared the counterbalance for the coming magical awakening, the means of obtaining prestige and livelihood in the formative period, and the scientific method necessary for my manifestation. The magical fiasco at the age of 16 was needful to keep you away from magic until you were sufficiently matured. 4. Youth. The loss of family fortune developed your sense of self-reliance at a critical period. The contact with reality at this time was essential. Your early marriage with Helen served to break your family ties and effect a transference to her, away from a dangerous attachment to your mother. The experience at Halifax and Caltech served to strengthen your self-reliance, scientific method, and material powers. The influence of Tom Rose at this period, as that of Ed Foreman in adolescence, was essential in developing the male center. 5. Later youth. The house on Terrace Drive, music, Lynn, Curtis, and Gloria, and the increasing restlessness were, of course, all preparations for the meeting with AA and O.T.O. The alternate repulsion and attraction you felt the first year after meeting Freighter 132 were caused by a subconscious resistance against the ordeals ahead. Had you had these experiences before, without such resistance, you would have become hopelessly unbalanced. Betty served to effect a transference from Helen at a critical period. Had this not occurred, your repressed homosexual component could have caused a serious disorder. Your passion for Betty also gave you the magical force needed at the time, and the act of adultery tinged with incest served as your magical confirmation in the law of Thelema. At this time, the O.T.O. was an excellent training school for adepts, but hardly an appropriate order for the manifestation of Thelema. Therefore, in spite of your motto, you were not able to formulate your will. The experience with the O.T.O. and Aerojet were needed to dispel your romanticism, self-deception, and reliance on others. Betty was one link in the process designed to tear you away from the now unneeded Oedipus complex, the over-evaluation of women and romantic love. Since this was unconscious, the next step was to bring it into consciousness, and there to destroy it. 6. Early maturity. The final experience with Hubbard and Betty and the O.T.O. was necessary to overcome your false and infantile reliance on others, although this was only partially accomplished at the time. The invocation of Babalon served to exteriorize the Oedipus complex. At the same time, because of the forces involved, it produced extraordinary magical effects. However, this operation is accomplished and closed. You should have nothing more to do with it, nor even think of it, until her manifestation is revealed and proved beyond the shadow of a doubt. Even then, you must be circumspect, although I hope to take complete charge before then. Candy appeared in answer to your call, in order to wean you from wet nursing. She has demonstrated the nature of woman to you in such unequivocal terms that you should have no further room for illusion on the subject. The suspension and inquisition was my opportunity, one of the final links in the chain. At this time, you were enabled to prepare your thesis, formulate your will, and take the oath of the abyss, and thus making it possible, although only partially, to manifest. The exit of Candy prepares for the final stage of your initial preparation. 7. Conclusions. The numerous rituals you have performed resulted in a well-developed body of light. The ordeals have purged most of the emotional and mental garbage. Your only real dangers are, and have ever been, sentimentality, weakness, and procrastination. It is interesting to note that the first weapon you formulated was the Lamp of the Spirit, in the invocation to Pan, although the sword was prefigured. Next, the sword in the Horus ritual, as was appropriate to your intellectual development at that time. Then the cup, out of the wine of your emotional life, the disc, out of material failure. The sword remains to be manifested. You will note that it has been impossible to truly formulate your will with any of these weapons. Naturally, that is only possible with the wand. On the other hand, if you had done so previously, you would have been unbalanced by the lack of initiated preparation. It is a right and natural procedure. The true will cannot be truly formulated until you are initiate in all the other planes, and it is well to make no pretense of doing so. Until that point, all you can do of the true will is the aspiration to the next step, towards further experience. That is the glory of the law of Thelema. Do. The physical and emotional stresses you feel at present are a result of the pull of the abyss. Your present poetry is indicative. Naturally, you find no power in any spell, no comfort in any ritual, no hope in any action. You are cut off by your own oath. Nor can I or any other aid you at this time. There is only manhood, only will, only the vector of your own tendencies, developed through the aeons of the past. I do not say how long the state will last or what the outcome may be. However, I can formulate some rules which may serve to guide you. 8. Instructions. A. Works of the wand of the will alone avail in this state. No other weapon should be used, no other ritual save the hymn to the unnamed one in the anthem of the Mass. B. You should be meticulous in all observations pertaining to the will, even the most petty. Fulfill all obligations and promises, undertake nothing which you cannot fulfill, be prompt in the discharge of each responsibility. C. Be neat in your personal and domestic habits, indicate your self-respect to yourself. D. Do not become unduly involved with any person, and practice all your hard-earned wisdom in your relations with women. E. Set up your personal affairs in business order, keep your accounts current and your papers neatly filed. F. Finish your poetry for publication, finish the synthesis of the tarot, and start work on the preparation of the lessons of class instruction from your book. G. Pay no attention to any phenomena whatsoever, and continue in a sober and responsible way of life under all circumstances. Not magical. For you nothing is more magical. Only thus can the curse of Saturn be overcome. I see you hate this way. But it is an ultimate time. It is you that have taken the oath. The choice is me or Corazon. I await you in the city of the pyramids. Balerion. 8 = 3.